This week we sail from Rue to Loch Goil and Carrick Castle, where we suffer an engine breakdown. Dave discusses the cause while he fixes it, and finally we go for a walk in the woods above the castle. Hi, we're Dave and Jude, and we sold up our home and left our jobs and our lives behind to live on board our sailboat, Anamcara. Since leaving Portsmouth on the south coast of the UK, we've had quite an adventure, visiting wild Atlantic islands, Irish pubs, spotting whales and watching motorsports. We're embracing life and all that it has to offer. Come with us as we continue to sail north and explore the UK's magnificent coastline all the way up to the Scottish Islands and beyond. We'll be exploring the lochs of Scotland and the Hebridean Islands and discover the wildlife and communities on the way. We have new videos out every Saturday, so make sure you subscribe to avoid missing an episode.
Hello. For you guys it will have been a week since we last posted a video. For us it has now been about a month since we've been out on the water. We had to go back, as Dave's previously mentioned, we were selling a house, so we had to go back down south to do that because it went a bit quicker than we expected. So through July, which is quite the summer months of the UK, we had to go back down and sort that out. So we were down south, it was about 30 degrees and we were up in the attic and filling boxes, so it was quite hard work really. But we're back, we've been back on the boat now for a couple of days. We had to wait around for some post to arrive, but we're now back out on the water. So the post arrived this morning, and we have been out and done some shopping, filled our water tanks and got going. It's now about 3 in the afternoon. We are heading to Carrick Roads, I think? Carrick Castle as an anchorage, which is about 3 hours away from here. We are fighting a bit of tide. Not sure whether we're going to sail. It's just a bit of a making sure the engine's alright after a month not using it and whatnot, and we just want to get in now and be at anchor and enjoy that, and then plan our next few sails. But yeah, we'll probably see you there. If not, show you a few bits of it in the meantime.
We're just pulling away from Rue Marina, where I previously showed the Scrubbies brush, sort of foam thing that you clean the hull with, and sorry, a bit of wind coming through. So I cleaned the hull with it on both sides. To be fair, I've done a fairly half-assed job on the port side because we were starboard side too. But basically, the boat is moving through the water much better than it was before. You can kind of feel that in the way that it handles, in the way that it speeds up and slows down. So overall, I think I'm going to give that a big tick. That device was well worth the money. So we have avoided a lift out, which we didn't really have the time to do. We could have had it lifted out money wise, but in terms of time, we just want to get on. We've just spent a month away from the boat dealing with house sales, so yeah, we want to get on with some sailing, and that's allowed us to do it. So yeah, I think that's a big win. Would definitely recommend it. It took a lot of dirt off the bottom of the boat and creatures, so yeah, very much recommend it. We're currently going up Loch Long on our way to Loch Goil, and we're gonna hang out at Carrick Castle tonight, we hope. There's an anchorage up there, there's a bunch of mooring buoys, and we've seen it on a couple of YouTube videos, and it looked like a nice place to stop. We've mostly come out today because we've been in that marina for a month. We haven't been there all the time, but we've been in there for a month, so we just felt like a change. Obviously there's quite an expense in terms of staying in a marina for a month. It was just under £1,000. Luckily the Boatfolk group have not an offer, it's a policy, I guess. So obviously the longer you stay, the more discount you get. And we started off on the day rate, which is £1 per metre per night. They then have a weekly rate, which is essentially, if you stay for 6 nights, you get the 7th for free. And then if you stay long enough, you move up to the month-long one, which is a substantial discount over that. So we overstayed what we initially intended to. So when we went to check out, I kind of said, well, was I supposed to tell you it was a month, or how does it work? And it turns out they just escalate you. The longer you stay, they always charge you the lowest possible for your stay, which is really nice these days. To not have to think about it, you just get the best deal that you possibly would, and a friendly smile and a thank you. It's really refreshing to see that these days, rather than a lot of companies just try to take as much as they can from you. So really refreshing. And it's also quite reassuring when you leave your boat. You're not quite sure how long you're going to be, that you're not going to end up blasting crazy high bills. The policy also extends to annuals, so apparently there's no way that you would ever pay more than the monthly direct debit of a full year, which is good. So if you end up accidentally staying for the year, you would by default just become a berth holder and start paying berth holder rates without the berth holder benefits. So you do get free nights elsewhere, and you get cheap fuel and stuff like that if you are a proper berth holder. And if you're just staying accidentally, then you don't get those benefits. But I think that's fair enough. But yeah, we had seen all we needed to see of it was Rue Marina that we stayed at. We never really showed that because we were busy with house stuff. And there's a little town/village called Rue. There is a bar and a corner shop, and the corner shop also sells like breakfast, bacon rolls and stuff. That was the whole of Rue. And then it was a probably 20-minute walk to Helensburgh, which is an interesting place. It's where Logie Baird was born, who invented TV, which was quite interesting. That's more of a town, but still quite a small place. And then 40 minutes by train and you're in central Glasgow. We did show some Glasgow stuff. Really interesting, nice modern town to walk around, with an enormous amount of history and industrialization history and stuff. Loads of amazing architecture there as well, and museums and art galleries. So yeah, had a lovely time, but time to move on and time to get back at anchor is what we really like. So here we are. Hopefully going to drop anchor in about an hour and a half.
We have just had a very lazy morning at Carrick Castle. We're on a mooring buoy. We picked one up last night and had dinner and whatnot, and then yeah, as I said, a lazy morning. There's very little wind, which was forecast. Planning to go to shore and go for a walk. We were just about getting ready to go. We put the dinghy in the water and then the engine wouldn't start. We haven't actually used it for about a month, and it's just the carburettor's blocked up, I think, is what the untechnical term for that is, from Dave trying to explain to me. So yeah, I will just show him now, doing a bit of maintenance on it, and then hopefully it will all work. Not sure if you heard that. There was some chaos going on the land.
So the problem is basically modern fuel has ethanol in it as well as petrol, and the ethanol mixes with water from the atmosphere, and that then causes corrosion inside of the carburetor. So if you look at the metal inside, it starts off life as fairly shiny, and as it sits there with fuel and water in it, it gradually corrodes. There's nothing you can do about this. It's just the way that the sort of chemistry of it all works. Old-fashioned fuel didn't have ethanol, so this never used to be a problem. And modern engines, I think they're starting to develop new coatings that will prevent the corrosion. But effectively, this is a block of what I think is aluminium. So it's rusting and has little bits of kind of white corrosion on it. That then, when it gets bad enough, falls off. When it falls off, it goes into the jets, and the jets block, which then stalls the engine. So it's not complicated, it's just frustrating. And in Britain we have two types of fuel, one's called E10 and one's called E5. The 10 and the 5 refer to the percentage of ethanol. So when we changed from E10 to E5, it solved most of these problems for us. So as long as we keep using the engine regularly, not a problem. This time though, we left it for a month, so problem. And but it's easy enough. You just take the carburetor off, clean out the jets. I've got these little carburetor cleaners. You probably can't even see the wire on there. There's different sized wires in here for different sized carburetors, and you just poke it down there, cleans out the jet. Give it a blow through with your mouth. Try not to get too much fuel in your mouth. And that cleans it out, and off you go again, and it's fine. So it's not difficult to fix. And when it's windy or whatever, we just don't fix it and go anywhere. We sort of sit on the boat rather than try and fix it. And we can do this in the cockpit as well. But once the engine's on the dinghy, it's easier just to do it in situ. But now it normally takes me about 10 minutes and then we'll be off again. So not too bad.
Wish that I could find the words to describe you now, as I'm lying next to you and the world goes quiet. Wish that I could make you see how you fit me perfectly, and I fall for you again. We've been through it all. You're the one who understands. In a world where hope grows thin, you've completed me. And the story left within tells me how to breathe. Wish that I could make you see how you fit me perfectly, and I fall for you again. We've been through it all. You're the one who understands. For you again. We've been through it all. You're the one who understands.
So the dinghy's fixed. We are heading now in to the castle. There's a bit of a beach next to it. We're going to beach the dinghy and pull it up on the wheels. Then go for a bit of a walk in the hills. Dinghy seems to be running fine, no issues there. While it was apart, I also fixed an issue with the fuel tap, which has been stiff for a while, and never hurts to get these things done. But yeah, hopefully that's the last breakdown for a while. We should be using the dinghy a lot more once we start heading up the west coast of Scotland. So fingers crossed. We've come for a walk in the hills next to Carrick Castle. We thought we'd chosen a good day for it because it's really still and not windy or cold, but it's incredibly humid, so just feels hot and stuffy, and we're sweating quite a lot climbing up the hills.
The sun did come out.
The sun did come out, and it's a very pleasant walk, really absolutely stunning views. The mountains up either side of the loch. The loch itself, other than the few pleasure boats that are zooming around, it's like a mirror down there, so you can see the mountains reflected on the water. And earlier on there was a bit of kind of cloud on the top of some of the mountains. That's now dispersed with the warmth, but absolutely stunning. And there's now a bit of sunshine on some of the hillsides, so hopefully we'll get some shots of that shortly. Sorry, I wasn't expecting another uphill when I started filming this, but it's gone quite steep again. So yeah, really nice walk. It's only 3k, doing a little loop around the where the castle is, up into the I think they're farming Christmas trees up here, which is pretty cool. Either that or they're just small kind of pine trees that will then later become a crop for wood, but I don't think they normally use these for wood. There's too many branches which cause the knots, so they look like Christmas trees to me. There's certainly a lot of them. It's very pretty walking through, and it smells lovely because of the pine fresh scent, which is why we use pine fresh scent in cleaning products. So anyway, I'm rambling now in more than one way, and we'll see where we get to. Thanks for watching. Please join us next week when we will sail to Loch Goil Head and anchor at Rubber Crotch in Loch Ridden on our way north. If you haven't done so already, please like and subscribe so you don't miss an episode.